Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, text, Chapter 1, text number 13. Sa Vishvakaya Pudakula Hula Isha Satya Swayam Jyoti Aja Purana Datesya Janmati Jayatma Shaktya Tam Vidya Yodasya Niriha Aste Savishvakaya Purahula Isha Satyak Swayam Jyotirajya Purana Datesya Janmadya Jayatma Shaktya Tam Vidya Yodasya Nirihadas Aste. Sa, that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishvakaya, the total form of the universe. The whole universe is the external body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Parentheses. Puruhuta, known by so many names. Isha, the Supreme Controller, with full power. Satya, the ultimate truth. Swayam, personally. Jyoti, self-effulgent. Aja, unborn, beginningless. Purana, the oldest. Date, he performs. Asya, of this universe. Janma Adi, the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Ajaya, by his external energy. Atma Shaktya, by his personal potency. Tam, that external material energy. Vidyaya, by his spiritual potency. Udasya, giving up. Niriha, without any desire or activity. Aste, he is existing, untouched by the material energy. Kind of covers everything. Translation. The entire cosmic manifestation is the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, who has millions of names and unlimited potencies. He is the self-effulgent, unborn, and changeless. He is beginning of everything, but he has no beginning, because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy. The universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. Nonetheless, He remains inactive in his spiritual energy and is untouched by the activities of the material energy. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. The purports Prabhupada said are his personal ecstasies. Said anyone can translate the verse, but only he could write these purports. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in his Shikastika, Namnam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has many names, which are all non-different from the Supreme Person. This is spiritual existence. By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, consisting of the names of the Supreme Lord, we find that the name has all the potencies of the person. The Lord's activities are many, and according to his activities, he has many names. He appeared as the son of Mother Yasoda, and also as the son of Mother Devaki. Therefore, he is named Devaki Nandan and Yashoda Nandan. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. The Lord has multiple energies, therefore he acts in multifarious ways. Yet he has a particular name. The Shastras recommend which names we should chant, such as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. It is not that we have to search for some name or manufacture one. Rather, we must follow the saintly persons and the Shastras in chanting his holy name. Although the material and spiritual energies both belong to the Lord, he is impossible to understand as long as we are in the material energy. And when we come to the spiritual energy, he's very easy to know, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.23. Mayam vyudasya chit chaktya kaivalya stita atmani. Although the external energy belongs to the Lord, when one is in his external energy, nam mama maya durataya, it's very difficult to understand. However, when one comes to the spiritual energy, he can understand. Therefore, the Bhagavad-Gita 18:55, it is said, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschatme tattvataha. One who wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in reality must take to the platform of bhakti in Krishna consciousness. The bhakti consists of various activities: Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedana. And is understood the Lord. To understand the Lord, one must take to the path of devotional service. Even though the people of the world have forgotten God and may say that God is dead, this is not a fact. One can understand God when one takes to the Krishna conscious movement, and thus one can be happy. That's the end of that purport. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gove Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarane. Vanchakalpa Turvyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai. Who knows the name of this special day? I just heard it, Hati Hati or something. Huh? Yeah. It's the day that all the things turn green or something. So we have an amazing tree there with mangoes and apples and few things all together. Spiritual tree. This is especially for Krishna Balaram and Radha Shyam. That's their life in the forest. Of course, they lived in the city later on. Lord Chaitanya liked the forest also. So it's okay to like the forest because Krishna liked it. I was walking in one forest to chant japa, and I was thinking, well, I like the forest because when I was young, we had a forest behind my house, and I would always run around down there. Then I thought, well, Krishna liked the forest, so it's not exactly Maya, if you remember Krishna. So here we covered like basically all the points of Bhagavad-Gita. Nam Namakari Bahuda. There's many, many names, and in all these names you've invested all your transcendental potencies and in special mercy. But the Maha Mantra, Sarva Mantra Sar. All mantras are in Krishna is also. All names are in one name. So I might as well chant Krishna. Like the Vishnu Sahasranam, it was Parvati asked her husband, Shiva, you know, that's too much for me, you can do something more easy. So he said, you chant Ram 3 times, you get the same spiritual benefit as 1,000 names. And then some names are more special, like Prabhupada says, Krishna likes to be called Devaki Nandan or Yashoda Nandan or Nanda Nandana. He likes to be in relation to his devotees. So those are common names that acharyas use. But the Maha Mantra is the special mercy for this age that Lord Chaitanya gave it to everyone. Previously, Brahmins thought only Brahmins can chant for different reasons. Some were making a business, some were thinking that, you know, other people would make offense if they weren't first class born as Brahmins. But Kali Yuga, being born as a Brahmin doesn't always mean that they're pure Brahmins. So Lord Chaitanya, he broke open the storehouse of love of God. He gave it to everyone. So we want to also give it to everyone. Thinking, you know, there's so many people talking about controlling the mind and, you know, all these things. It's important, but they're teaching how to set goals, how to work towards your goals, but they all have the same mundane goal. You're just going to get on top of something, the money or, you know, something. So they don't know the real goal. What should be the goal is to get to bhakti, to serving Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya just handed that right over, and then in the disciplic succession they carried that in. Prabhupada took it, you know, to another level with book distribution. This is all different arrangements of the Lord that the material society, you know, material things have advanced so much that you can just print, you know, 50,000 books in a couple hours, and that's a fact. Yeah. And the big machine, the BBT, they work with one press, and it's a German company. They put their press, I think, in Russia, but it only takes 2 men. One is loading paper on one end, and they stick the DVD in, and it comes out on the other end completely shrink-wrapped and palleted, and someone moves those away and puts another pallet, and they just, you know, they can print books so fast. So therefore we can distribute them. We can get so many books, and we can distribute. Even when Prabhupada was printing his Bhagavatam, you know, they had to typeset by hand. Inconceivable, you know. And then if you had to proofread and find a mistake, you have to move all these little letters that are backwards. Now you just, you know, delete, fill in, change. So this is all, you know, things that are mostly being misused, but when it's used for Krishna, and then the internet came around, and then, you know, with the push of 1 or 2 buttons, you can reach out to thousands of people. And devotees are doing that. Many are using these things for social, you know, prajalpa, but can be used. The Juhu Temple is number 6 in the world in Facebook likes, somehow or other, you know. Delhi is 8, I think, something like that. So the Mataji in charge there in Juhu, she said every devotee should, you know, have his own thing, but be preaching, because it makes, you know, many in China, Russia, almost all the devotees come from devotees' internet preaching. That's how they get their first contact, and they start, you know. Now it's, you know, you can just talk anywhere, free, a few dollars a month, you know, so pretty good facility. So we have to think. To control the mind, the best process, Prabhupada said, is to think of how to spread the holy name. And then I was listening to one lecture. He went through all the different yoga processes and everything. It's impossible, impossible, impossible to control the mind. As Arjuna told Krishna, you told me this process, but it's too difficult. Might as well try to stop the hurricane or something, whatever you call it here. And, you know, the windstorms. Krishna said that's true, it is very difficult, but you can do it by right means. Now Krishna said bhakti and all that, but Lord Chaitanya just handed it over, just chant the holy name. And then at the end, Prabhupada said over and over again, the way to control the mind is to think of how to, spreading Krishna consciousness movement, spreading this movement, spreading this movement. So everyone can do that, either amongst them, just by being a good example. People notice that, by raising your children properly, you know, all these things, and by chanting. Because when people hear someone chanting, they remember it. It's like Lord Chaitanya, he spread the Mahamantra all over South India. People saw him, you know, dancing in ecstasy. They never saw such a thing. And the ecstasy was so powerful, they would just start chanting, and they'd go home and they'd be still chanting, and pretty soon the whole village is chanting. The Padayatra, they went to some villages where they're chanting the Mahamantra, they don't know where they got it, because it was from Lord Chaitanya. But, so we're doing that with Harinam parties all over the world, with the chanting here in the temple all day, having all these kirtan festivals, you know, broadcasting, because you can tune in anytime, anywhere in the world and see this kirtan. The New York City Harinam every day is also online all the time. So many. The New York City one is especially amazing. Anybody who's been there? Somehow or other they can sit in that spot every day for what, 6-7 hours or something. And now they even are allowed to use a speaker. Before they didn't have a speaker. And it's one of the busiest subway stations in New York City. It's also a huge tourist shopping area, so the people are just, running by all the time. And when people are getting off the train, the sound is, the gate for the subway is right opposite the kirtan. And it's only like 3 or 4 meters. And so they can hear it echoing around in the tunnel. Then they come out and the first thing they see is Harinam. And many people just stand there for a long time. Sell so many books, and many people join in and dance, and that happens everywhere. I'm going to Israel in a few days, and there, believe it or not, more people join in and sing and dance with us than anywhere else. People think, that it's only terrorists there and everything, but they're once in a while, but they're everywhere. So, but the people loved it. They join in, and they hang around, and everybody's making movies, and those movies are going, who knows where. So, people without even knowing they're spreading the Sankirtan movement. But if we are thinking how to do it, then all these things come. Everything we get. If you want to understand Krishna, you can't, figure out Krishna. We can't do it by Gyan, or Krishna never says Gyani Mama Abhijanati or Karma Mama Abhijanati. You can't understand Krishna. You can come to the point of knowing that you have to get to mercy. You have to perform bhakti. Tesham sattata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Vadami buddhi yogam tam yenamamu bhayanti te. When one is constantly trying to serve, I give knowledge. He gives it. It's the only way we can get it. And he gives it when he wants to. But he's very kind, and he gives it very easily nowadays by Lord Chaitanya in that form. And just chant Hare Krishna, and you'll know something about Krishna. And then Prabhupada gave us so much information in his books. So this, simultaneously one and different. Krishna, here Prabhupada's quoting a few verses in Brahma Samhita, Vedeshu, Durlabha Atma Bhakta. It's very easy, very difficult to understand Krishna by just studying the Vedas. But by bhakti, it's very simple, because Krishna gives understanding in the heart. It's like he turns on the light. If you're in the dark, can't see anything, So, or say a blind person, he's born blind, but then at some point he gets his sight back. It's a whole new world, everything, and then he can understand much more. Some blind people can somehow get really tuned in anyway, even though they physically can't see. Like Gorkishore Das Babaji, his eyes were going bad, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, my son will take you to Calcutta to a doctor, and he can fix your eyes. He said, I'll never go to that material world, Calcutta. He said, no, my son will protect you. He'll take care of you. No, he said. And he said, I don't need these eyes to see God. He said. Actually, that Christian St. Francis, he said the same thing. He was just weeping, crying all the time, day and night, and his eyes were going bad. Doctor said, you have to stop crying all the time. He said the same thing. I don't need him to see God. That's a very, very advanced stage, but we don't, Vrindavan also, Prabhupada said, Vrindavan is for hearing, not for seeing, not just for sightseeing. I don't know, a lot of people, they're coming, and this is good, seeing is good, because you might get interested. But like Prabhupada made sure here we had the kirtan all day, so they hear the kirtan also. And then we have so many books for sale, so they have this opportunity to hear about Krishna, not just see. But seeing, you know, many people, we get attracted by seeing the beauty of Krishna. And then we'll think, well, let's find out more about this guy, hopefully, right? So the devotees are spending a lot of effort and thinking and everything to decorate, make it more attractive, you know, keep the temple very beautiful, pancha, so you know, making all these new paintings all the time and keeping everything really nice. So bhakti mama abhijananti. If we're in the material energy, mama maya duratyaya, then it's very difficult to know Krishna. But if you surrender to Krishna, then it's very easy. Many things are like that, you know. Trying to do something on our own is very, very hard. To take help of somebody who knows what they're doing, all of a sudden it becomes easy. I sometimes remember an example I had when I was quite young. We would go to these state fair, it was called in America, and they have all these playground things. You know. So one was a big barrel and it's spinning around, you know, and you're supposed to walk through there. So as soon as you step in there, and the guy that works there is just walking around, you know, and then he'll show you how to do it. You've got to keep your feet moving sideways and something. Then, you know. But I never figured out on your own. You just fall down so quick. You know. So we want to serve Krishna. We want to know Krishna. We need guidance. We need the Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. We need devoted association. And we need Guru, a teacher, and we need Shastra. We need scripture. We need teaching. Prabhupada arranged that for everyone. This chapter is, you know, the administration of the universe. So the universe is organized and managed, you know, by so many different people in so many different ways. And so Prabhupada made a society, not just books. He made a society where we could come together and study the books and distribute the books, where we could chant the holy name in association, because that's very important. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. All the Shastras declaring that it's the most important thing, it's perfection. The Sadhu Sangha means chanting together, reading together, serving together, planning together how to serve Krishna, not just you know, being with other devotees or talking about your new haircut or something. You know, if you look at Facebook, some devotees are anxious. Because, like for the men, we don't get new haircuts. Because that was the biggest issue in the 70s, people. How can you shave your head? You know, just like, how can you give up your hair? You know, it's just, that was a big step, you know. I was so attached. And when I saw that hair on the floor, I thought, how could I be attached to that, you know? Hair is a funny thing, right? Like the advertisements, you know, that the girls will love to put their fingers in your hair if you put this stuff in it. Hair is somehow attractive when it's attached to the head. But nobody likes to pull the hairs out of the shower drain or something, right? It's the same hairs, but nobody likes to sweep the floor of the barber shop or something. You know, what is this dirty stuff? You know, but on the head, we don't think about it. So, you know, it's a big business, a beauty shop. You know, and that's predicted. They're following strictly Srimad Bhagavatam. beauty will be judged by your haircuts. In Africa, wigs, their hair doesn't, manipulate so easily, so they have so many wigs, and they think they look good. So bhakti is the real thing, and then these simple 9 processes, which all of them are going on all the time in ISKCON, Prabhupada arranged. Anybody can join, Shravanam, Kirtanam, can hear about Krishna, either by listening to others, and now with the internet, you can find anybody you want talking about Krishna, right? From anywhere in the world. Very nice arrangement. So that we should take advantage of all these things. You can find all the Prabhupada's lectures, so many others, kirtans, all the, everything's online, all the kirtan melas, all the, kirtan by this one, that one. So we take advantage and let other people know about all this, if we're giving out cards or invitations, give them some links, because, then they make sure when they look up Hare Krishna, they get the nice things. So Krishna is mysterious. He's Devakinandan and Yashodanandan. Different people take that differently. We think it's really wonderful, and how he's benedicting all these different mothers and fathers. And Shishupal took it differently. When they nominated Krishna to be the first worshipped at the Rajasuya sacrifice, Shishupal protested. Nobody knows who he is. He grew up in the village, cowherd boy. That's not a very high-class work. It is the highest class work, but the people somehow, they don't realize that. And now he's a big Kshatriya, but what's his qualification? We don't know his birth line or anything. He's no good, Now everyone else didn't agree with that, but Shishupal went on and on. He hated Krishna from birth, from many births, because he was Hiranyakasipu and Ravana and then Shishupal. But for us, it's very fascinating that Krishna has all these different identities and different incarnations, and he's just benedicting everybody according to their taste, however form we want to worship Krishna. But we had the special mercy of Nitai Gauranga, Krishna and Balaram, and Radha and Krishna. And Balaram, Prabhupada made it. There's not very many Krishna Balaram temples, maybe 1 or 2 in Vrindavan. A few Balaram temples. The Prabhupada especially wanted to show that Gaur-Nitai are exactly Krishna Balaram. And ISKCON is educating people all over the world, because Gaur-Nitai were not so well known outside of Bengal and Orissa. Even in South India, people know Lord Chaitanya still, but they don't see him as the Supreme Lord. They see him as a great saint or something. And some mundane historians, they say he was some kind of sadhu who had epilepsy or something, because they know about his ecstatic symptoms. And he said that about himself. When he was leaving Vrindavan and he fell unconscious, and then those Muslims came, soldiers, and they were accusing his friends of poisoning him to steal money. And then he woke up and he said, "No, these are my friends. I have some kind of disease like epilepsy, so sometimes I fall unconscious and stuff." And then he preached to the Muslims and convinced them that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and they became great devotees. They were very strong, like soldier kind of people, and they became very powerful preachers. We don't get the details of exactly how he preached to them, but from the basis of the Quran, what it says about Allah, they convinced people that that's Krishna. Can preach to anybody. And Prabhupada had that same ability. So if we want to take advantage of what we have, we don't need anything else. Prabhupada said again and again, one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, he said one time, like, we should study for 3 days, every verse, and then how he calculated how long that would take. Keep you busy for quite a long time. Bhaktisiddhanta spoke on the first verse of the Bhagavatam for, I've heard 1 month, and some people say 2 months, right? But for sure 1 month at Radhakund, every day, speaking on one sloka. Because every sloka, contains everything. Like, we take this apart, Prabhupada, takes it apart in purport, but then we can speak, and it can go on and on. And even mundane books, I heard one guy speaking, and he's stressing you should read books, about whatever you're trying to learn. And he said, even read the same book again, you'll find so many things you never noticed the first time. So that's a fact, because we don't remember everything, and we're learning more, and then we find more. But what to speak of the Bhagavatam, or the holy name, it just, the more we chant, the more we find. That the more we read the same Bhagavad-Gita, even the same chapter over and over again, it's always new and fresh. It's a valuable experiment to make, Tell someone just, read the new people, like read the one chapter, or read one verse a day, or read the same verse every day for a week, or chant every day for a week, 5-10 minutes. And then they realize, every day something's happening. Krishna is turning on the lights, so you can see more clearly. It's like, I can't read this unless I, hold it here or something. But then with a little help, it becomes clear, right? So even a blind person, we have a devotee in Durban, South Africa. He's blind. He's a very good musician, and he sings all about Krishna. He's a very great devotee. He's beautiful, piano and singing about Krishna. We have many devotees who are deaf. There's a whole group of them in Bombay, one of them in London. We have one in Japan. And when he came, he's educated. He can read and write and everything. And the government took care of him. And she said, how can I tell him to chant? He's deaf. They were talking by writing or something, and he can do that. And so if you see deaf people, you go like this. That means I love you or something. They really get happy about that. So I said, just write down the mantra and just tell him to read it over and over again. And he did. And he chants japa like really intensely. But he sometimes noise, like, because he can't hear what his noise is coming out. And he said he would love it here, in Sundararti. He said he likes a really loud kirtan because then he can feel it. It shakes his bones, and then if you have good ears, it's a little risky sometimes. For him, so even deaf, and he does all kinds of things. He can read the books and everything. So, you don't need all the external senses. If you just believe in Krishna, we have a little faith, he gives knowledge. The external senses are easily tricked, easily, make mistakes. They're imperfect. So you have to be careful to judge. You can't judge, just by looking at something. We're conditioned to do that, judge someone by their look, according to their body or their language or something. You can't know. To look for the soul, and then we can preach and just realize that within every soul, every body, there's a soul and a super soul. Whatever kind of body, that's equal vision. The bodies are all different. They all have different functions, and they're all valuable. All the different pieces of the machine have to be there. The universe has to be managed by all these people. The society has to be managed. The personal life has to be managed so that we can chant the holy name. So we'll take time if there's any comments, questions, corrections, reflections, whatever you want to call it. Have a microphone? Anybody? Back there, you want to say something? Huh? You want to say something? Hare Krishna. You don't have to. Huh? Can't hear you.
Thank you very much for being such a presentation.
All right. So, because this verse covers so much, that Krishna created the entire cosmic manifestation by his external energy. It's nothing. It's a tiny part of his energy. We want to enter the spiritual energy, and it's very near or very far away depending on our consciousness. Krishna is very near or he's very far. If we're chanting and trying to serve Krishna, he's right there. And if we're trying to enjoy the material world, then he's far away. So for some people, he's so far away that they just don't believe he even exists. Right? The atheist, there's a really famous atheist in England. He's the most famous one now. He's not the most clever one, but he's the most famous. And I met one of his colleagues from the Oxford University, and he said, if you want to know a religious fanatic, he's the one. He talks about God more than anybody. How religion is so bad, there's no God, there's nothing worse than believing in God, nothing is more bad, on and on and on. Constantly talking about God. And even in England now, they recognize atheism as a religion. You can put, what is your religion? You can put atheist. And then one year I was in London and for the marathon, and then in January, the atheists, that London has all this advertising on the buses, and the big double-decker buses, So they did that, and they wrote on the buses, probably there's no God, so enjoy life. That means if there is God, you can't enjoy, because God says don't do this, don't do that, don't take intoxication, do not. You know that one? Prabhupada saw that restaurant, Dunkin' Donuts, and he said, that's like us. And Prabhupada, the devotees were bewildered. He said, like, do not take intoxication, do not gamble, do not eat. So that people thinking like that, religion is horrible because they tell you not to do things. And maybe their experience is like that, they don't, but real religion tells you what to do, which is so much more pleasurable, so just take advantage of it. And the more we tell others about Krishna, and the more we think about how to tell others about Krishna, the more Krishna reveals himself to us. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.